Hey guys, David and Gina here with Rough Swag, and we're gonna talk about building food drive in your dog. So first off, we're gonna go over some of the equipment and things that you're gonna need to do this. First, you're gonna want your dog's favorite treat. So we use Vital. We get it from PetSmart or Petco. It's in the refrigerated section. It's a big roll. We like the chicken. It seems to stay together the best. We use this because the dogs absolutely love it, but it's also pretty high quality food. You can feed just that. You don't necessarily need to feed kibble or anything else. So when we're raising up our young dogs, I don't like to feed kibble. I prefer to do everything from my hand. So we use the Vital a lot for that. You're gonna want a harness. So here are two of our Rough Swag harnesses here. Bigger dog, small dog. So you'll want a harness. You want a Biothane leash is what we prefer for this, but any leash will do. I like these because if I am going out to, for example, the park, if I'm going hiking, if I'm doing anything like that, these are super easy to clean. They're very lightweight, very durable. So I like these Biothane leashes for pretty much everything, but especially this. I like leashes without a handle. So if you do have a leash that has a handle, you can just cut the handle off. That way when they drag the leash, not gonna get caught on anything. And of course you're gonna need a pouch. So these are the pouches that we love. So they've got a little snap open to stay open while you're working. I've got big hands, so when I try to get food out of a smaller pouch, some of those like rock climbing type pouches, I can't get my hand out of the pouch with food. And because we typically grab a big handful, I like a pouch with a big opening that stays open. So these are fantastic. I like to have a slip leash on my puppy when I'm working them for the first part of what we're gonna show you, just so that they don't leave basically the engagement session. And yeah, so those are the piece of equipment that you're gonna want. And of course your dog. So engagement is the first step of what we're gonna do here. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is make sure that our dog is engaged with us. So engagement is basically teaching your dog to stay paying attention to you and take food from you. So basically, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna just sit there and feed at a high rate of reinforcement. So basically just put the food in front of their face and let them just take the food out of your hands. Some dogs actually find this kind of weird. Puppies especially, they'll start looking on the ground and they'll be looking for bowls, whatever, because most puppies haven't been fed out of her hand. So we want them to be taking food out of her hand like this. This is the first step. So you see she's very engaged. She doesn't check out. She doesn't come looking back to me. Gina's giving her quite a bit of food very quickly. So that's the first step. Step two is we're gonna teach them to actually drive it out of our hands. So to do that, I'm gonna put it between these two fingers, my index finger and my middle finger, and then I'm gonna cover it with my thumb here. So when I do that, they're actually not gonna be able to take it until I open my thumb up. So they can sit there and just drive and drive and drive. And then when I decide, I open my thumb up. In the beginning, you wanna do this pretty short. So you wanna cover it up, let them try, open up, let them have it. Put the next one in, let them try, open up, let them have it. So she covers it up right there. You see Nala's actually trying pretty hard to get the food out. She obviously wants it pretty bad, but Gina's able to hold that piece in there as long as she wants. Now just show a couple where you're just kind of letting her do it pretty quick. So she tries, let her have it. She tries, and here you can use markers as well. So you can use your yes marker or a clicker. So we like to use our voice just because I always have my voice. I don't always have a clicker on me, and if I forget it, and that's all my dog understands, I might not be able to do my training session. So go ahead and do a couple markers here too.
Yes. Yes.
And you see, she actually gets more excited when Gina says yes,
yes,
than just giving her the food, right? She says yes, and you
yes,
see little Nala get a little bit excited. And
yes.
so that tells me she definitely knows her yes markers.
Yes.
All right, so next, this is something that I kind of want to put a disclaimer here. I don't like to use harnesses for most things. I don't ever walk my dog on a harness, ever. Don't allow your dog to just pull you around while they're on a harness going for a walk. Come here, sweets. But for building up food drive, it can be pretty beneficial to use a harness for this. So, all right, so this is where I like to have the leash with no handle. In the beginning, I'm just gonna kind of be restraining her a little bit and letting her drive the food out of Gina's hand. But pretty quickly, once they kind of get into it, we're also gonna do what we call restrained recalls, which we'll show in a second here. She's just gonna kind of continue doing that little engagement. Go ahead.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just put a tiny bit of pressure here on the leash while Nala's pulling and Gina's letting her drive the food out of her hand.
Yes.
So if you see, she's trying pretty hard, I'm able to pull.
Yes.
Go ahead and move back just a little bit
Yes.
quicker.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get down just a little bit lower so she doesn't do wheelies.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So if I pull too hard, you see there, I pulled a little bit too hard and she's never done this before. Go ahead and flip around. She has fantastic food drive, so we've never had to do this. But if I pull too hard, go ahead and keep backing up. See this? Now she's gonna lose drive a little bit because she doesn't know she's supposed to pull, right? So I don't want to pull too hard. I just want a little bit of pressure that encourages her to keep trying. But if I pull too hard, she's gonna get discouraged and she's gonna say, well, clearly I can't get to the food, right?
Yes. Yes.
The more I do this, the more she's gonna get into it.
Yes.
And she's gonna start driving that food out more and more now. Now we're gonna do what we call a restrained recall here. So a restrained recall is basically us holding them back from something that they want. And again, I kind of want her to be able to continue trying to get towards Gina. And then as soon as Gina says her name and come, I'm just gonna release the leash and she's gonna be able to bolt to Gina, okay? So in the beginning, I wanna make sure that she knows that Gina has food. So she's gonna kind of pull into the food and then Gina's gonna just back away. I usually give a couple pieces of food and then I leave. And then Gina's gonna continue making noises like pop, pop, pop. She's just not gonna say her name. And then as soon as Gina says her name, I'm just gonna let the leash go, all right? So go ahead and get her engaged and back up while you're doing this. So now she knows she has food. Now go ahead and run away.
Now come. Yes. Good girl.
So you see there and here, of course, we're in a small area, but at a field, we might do a pretty long distance one of these. But here, I don't really even necessarily need to let go of the leash yet. So go ahead and do another one.
Now come. Yes. Good girl.
So now you see there, Nala's trying pretty hard to get to Gina, and that's what we want. Now go ahead and do another one. I'm gonna show what I don't wanna do.
Now come.
So that I don't wanna do. I don't wanna pull so much and restrain her so much that she can't do it, because like I say, some dogs are just gonna give up. We'll stop for a second. Some dogs are just gonna give up, but some dogs are also gonna say, well, I can't get to her, so I'm gonna stop trying. And then when she says come, she might be not even looking at her and say, well, I don't even know I'm supposed to come to you. I'm not excited to get to you. You're restraining me too much. So we wanna make sure that when we say come, that she's also focused on Gina and not focused on me or something else. So restraining just a little bit.
Now come. Yes.
Perfect.
Good job.
So the more I do this, the more intense she's gonna be at getting to Gina. And you kind of wanna be a little bit cautious of how much you do this, because if you do too much of this, they're gonna get a little bit crazy about it. But we do want them to come to us really quickly. So this is one of the techniques that we'll use to get our dogs to run to us quickly. So hope this helps, guys. If you have any questions, let us know. Thanks.
Thanks.